Good morning, Stefan. Ladies and gentlemen, together with my colleague Dragos, we are here making an exclusive interview with Stefan Ihnen, the Associate Director of the R&D in IWC. Stefan, good morning and welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much. Welcome from my side as well. Yeah, very pleasure to hear and to see you in these difficult times. Perfect.
Yeah. You know, you are the first interview for this online edition of Watch and Wonders.
Okay, perfect.
So let me go to the first question. The new Portuguese collection is reinforcing Peloton winding with ceramic components.
Yeah.
Please explain what is the strengths, what are the strengths, why is so important this system, of course, beyond the historical reason, because it's an original, genuine IWC historical achievement.
The Peloton, even it's built and made in the 50s, is still considered as a very robust and uncomplicated automatic system, especially among watchmakers. It's very efficient because at a quite low dead angle. We have very little movements of the customer are already transferred into movements or in energy for the movement. So for this reason, the Peloton stays still in our portfolio, and especially with the enhancement with the ceramic components. We have, usually the automatic parts is something which is over the years will wear out and has to renewed after a certain amount of years. With the ceramic components, we have really an almost, service-free automatic winding system, which enhance the service interval of the movements with the Peloton and the ceramic parts. This is also one of the reasons why we could enhance also our warranty to 8 years, for example. So it is an old construction, but it's really from the material side, from the standards today, a top automatic system.
Dragos?
Okay, one of the key propositions for the new Portuguese collection is that all the watches in the new collection are equipped with the in-house caliber. How important is this for IWC, and why this wasn't possible until now?
The manufacturing strategy that we're following since years is very important to us, and especially the Portuguese, as one of our icons, deserves 100% in-house movements. But we should not forget, after the quartz crisis in the 70s, IWC had practically no movement production anymore. It was with the beginning of the comeback of the mechanical watches in the 80s. We started to rebuild first external movements. We equipped them with modules. I mean, at that time, many IWC classics date from this area. I mean, Purple Calendar, Rattrapante, UTC, just to name a few. And the first in-house caliber was launched again then in 2000, only 20 years ago, with the caliber 50,000. And inspired by that success, and of course also driven by an increased demand for manufacturing movements, we then brought more and more basic calibers over the past 15 to 20 years. You have to understand, I mean, each of these basic movements means a huge investment for us. I mean, as I started 18 years ago at IWC, we were 8 or 9 persons in research and development. Today, I have more than 40 people. I mean, this has to grow, to build up, etc. And of course, we had to start with a top segment. So, the robust, the big movements, robust movements, long power reserves, able to carry complications. Then we made our complications on in-house movements. And now with the years, we are ready also to enter the entry segment. Also thanks to the new manufacturing center. This is also one step, one need to have to go more and more into manufacture movements and have especially important lines like the Portuguese completely on in-house calibers.
Okay. Talking about the new, also about the new collection of Portugieser. This new Yacht Club Moon and Tide is a kind of first at IWC. And to be honest, I was personally very surprised that you are thinking to this kind of complication. So let's go with your hat a bit in more technical details, because obviously it's not easy to do such a quite not so usual complication, especially for a high-end brand.
Yeah, it was really not so easy, and was very was also there were some discussions internally as well for this complication anyhow. But we thought it fits perfect to Portugieser and the whole theme about the Portugieser, and it also has some benefits. We could combine it quite nicely with the IWC double moon display, which plays also a role in the indications. The display is integrated to the caliber 82, so it's the caliber 82 835. The module is not that complicated, to be honest. It's only 49 individual parts which we need for this module. We have how to say during 12 hours and 24 minutes is the time frame between two high tides. So it was we have a display that rotates around 24 minutes on the 12-hour scale. This tidal disk rotates around its axis an exact 14.7 days. So it's quite precise. We have just a deviation of 10 minutes in 100 years. Because it displays, or the display rotates continuously, it always shows only the approximate time of the next high tide. High tide, and on the upper side of this display, you can also read the approximate time for the next low time. The exact times for high and low tide depend on the longitude. So as a result, the display needs to calibrate once. Mm-hmm. You need the tide table for your position. So if you are in a harbor, or you have the city at the coast like New York or Lisbon, Sydney, or whatever, so you can have these tide tables of this area, and then you can set this your tide indication, and from that on it's working perfectly. We're talking about the sea, about nature. It's not that exact. So what is very important is you need to have 2 tides per day. So the display works reliable on all coasts with 2 equally strong high and low tides per day. This is most of the biggest cities and Europe, USA, etc. But there are also areas where this is not working.
Stefan, oh, sorry. Please continue.
No, please. I don't know if it's okay. It's quite difficult to explain without the watch. With the watch, it's easier.
That's the limit of the online interviews.
Yeah.
One additional simple question. This module, just the module for the tide indication, is in-house, or it was committed to a supplier?
No, it's completely in-house. It's completely in-house, and as I said, it's a combination of this tide indication and also our double moon phase. And I mean, the tide is is also influenced by the moon. So we added to the moon phase a neap and spring tide indication. So in the subdial at 6 o'clock you see the tide, and at the subdial at 12 o'clock you have the moon indication, and also the indication for a neap or a spring tide, because this depends on the moon. So how to say, every new moon and every full moon you have a high tide, because then sun, moon and earth are in a straight line, and you have the maximum influence, so you have a high tide. And when you have a half moon, so these three planets are in a 90 degrees angle, you have a low tide. So you have the tide, and you have also a high and low tide indication. I hope I could explain at least a little bit. It's, as I said, it's quite difficult when you don't have the watch in front.
Dragos?
Yeah, I would like to ask more technical details about a material, the 18 karat armor gold. What is the difference of your technical solution in comparison with other watch manufacturers which have similar material?
To be honest, I don't know if others have really similar materials, but I cannot comment of course, on this company's developed or on other watch companies' developments. What I can tell you is our armor gold is exactly the same alloy as our conventional 5N gold, but it's substantially harder due to a sophisticated thermomechanical treatment. So it's heat and mechanical deformation, which causes this additional hardness. And we achieve an increased hardness with exactly the same gold of at least 50%, which of course.
Why this is possible now?
This is a process related situation. I mean, the thermal treatment was I think known before, but this mechanical deformation processes we need to have. These processes we have integrated just recently.
Okay.
Stefan,
yes.
Another question is regarding the Portuguese tourbillon retrograde chronograph, which combines a tourbillon with a retrograde date display and chronograph. Quite rare, very rare at IWC. How was coming the idea? It was a challenging technical achievement?
The idea was quite, it was not so a big thing about it. I mean, we are a chronograph brand, and we are also quite successful with tourbillons, and so the combination was very obvious. However, the implementation was not so easy. There was simply no space for an integration of the tourbillon within our caliber 89. Therefore, we choose a completely different way, and we set the tourbillon on the dial side onto the position, the original position of the small second of this caliber, which was then also acting as an interface and also as a power source for the tourbillon. As a result, the tourbillon stands very nicely in the dial opening, and we also had room beside the tourbillon on one side for the retrograde date, which is quite interesting, and also our patented tourbillon stop. This is a watch with a tourbillon stop. So when you pull the crown, the tourbillon will be stopped, and you can set exactly the time.
Dragos?
Yeah, I would like to go a little bit deeper into the technical novelties of the new Portuguese collection. Tell us more about that.
I mean, of course, we have the moon and tide version. Now we have some of the models are from said, from external movements to in-house movements, of course. We have our well-known peptide calendars on the caliber 52, of course, which are a big part or very important products within the Portugieser. But we're also, as another technical novelty, launching a smaller peptide calendar based on the caliber 82 with a bit more, how to say, wearable diameter of 42 millimeters. So another peptide calendar, smaller, display different with 3 subdials instead of 4. Yeah, we hope we can also attract some of the clients who said your peptide calendars are wonderful, but the diameter is too big.
Stefan, IWC is continuing the cooperation with Formula One Mercedes team.
Yeah.
The big question is, beyond the marketing support and the image, there is any kind of technical cooperation with the Formula One team? And there is any result of this, eventually, of this cooperation to be integrated in a watch?
The cooperation is very interesting also for technical aspects, I have to say. We have some contacts and we try to get inspired by the materials they use. To be honest, it's also not so easy because we have to respect other things than they do. I mean, biocompatibility, dimensions, for example, aspect. This has all to fit, so not all the materials they use are really suitable for a watch. But nevertheless, in the past, we used also carbon, for example, and also titanium aluminide from the automotive corporations at that time with AMG, and we have some ideas and projects, but it's in the pipe. Huh? It's too early to really speak about it. As I said, there are some things quite tricky, especially when you want to put some materials on the wrist. It has to be absolutely biocompatible and so on. And our expectation for aspect is really, really high compared to them.
Should we expect a kind of novelty watch coming from this cooperation in the next 2-3 years?
Yeah, 2-3 years could be feasible. Yeah, but it's a question if we get it right to the market and to the demand. Yeah.
We all know that the Corona crisis will change many things in our lives and businesses. So nobody knows exactly what. But how do you imagine the success recipe for a mechanical, respected brand like IWC after the crisis? What are the key technical elements of today's success, let's say?
As already mentioned, I mean, in-house movements, very important for us. And I think also a key point, or key today, quality, robustness, durability. I mean, we just have this launched the 8 years guarantee. I think these are things very, very important today. I think technical innovation, especially in combination with icons, with our icons, are very important. I mean, for example, yeah, now the Portugieser automatic, the Portuguese chronograph, these are important icons, but also, for example, on the big pilot and so on. Here, technical innovation in combination with these classic pieces is, I think, one of the success factors. I personally believe that the crisis is accelerating the trend towards the classics of the watch industry. I think that's it's more or less a given. Yeah, and as I said, the consistent maintenance and further development of our icons, like this here in the Portuguese family, are also a very important recipe for the success of the future.
Stefan, do you think after the crisis, what will, as I said, as a technical guy, I'm asking you, what could be more important in this respect? A brilliant mechanical watch or a brilliant digital watch or a smartwatch?
I think these both things will lift side by side still, like they did before. I don't know if the smartwatch will or these gadgets will get more and more important. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that people still keep on buying a luxury timepiece when they achieve something special, to give the gift to themselves, to mark a milestone in their life or whatever. I don't think they will buy a digital watch for these kind of reasons. I think it will stay on our side. And I think, as I said before on the question, I think these icons, these classic watches within the watch industry will stay and will exactly be in that place.
Thank you very much, Stefan. It was an interesting conversation.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon in reality.
Yeah, the same for all of us. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.